There are obviously many ways that we affect the earth. But I think the biggest problem that we have in dealing with the earth is that we consider the earth separate from ourselves as opposed to us being a part of the entire system. And so I think that we treat the earth as a resource as opposed to our home and a place that we need to take care of. And I think that we forget that we come from the earth. All of the elements that make us up and everything else like that come from us when we originally receive our nutrition and everything else from our parents, especially from our mothers during the in utero times. But the bottom line is that the more the population of the earth has increased, the greater the impact that we've had on the planet. I think one of the things that concerns me the greatest is the fact that the population doesn't understand that everything they do on a day-to-day basis has an impact on our environment. Anybody that studies the history of our planet understands that climate change is a constantly occurring issue that happens over and over again. What I don't think that they understand is that there's a difference between climate change, okay, and global warming. And I don't think that the legislators that are there are really serious enough to understand that we are impacting the planet every day. I'll give a couple of examples. Number one, we're still burning fossil fuels at a rate that has never been seen before in the history of the earth. And in doing so, we also have the highest carbon dioxide rate in the atmosphere ever been recorded. We can go back about 640 million years and take a look at the Antarctic, take a look at the ice cores, and we can determine what the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is. Right now, it's extremely high and continues to be so. The bottom line is that that's only one of a number of greenhouse gases that is raising the level of temperature. In doing so, we're destroying habitats, we're destroying, the ice levels in the Arctic and in the Antarctic, and entire populations are moving. If we lose Greenland and if we lose major pieces of the Antarctic, water levels are going to increase approximately 80 meters from where they are right now. As a matter of fact, anybody that does a study that's along the oceans understands that sea level is rising because not only as we get more water in the oceans, but also the warmer it gets, the more it expands. So now if we go a little bit further in depth on that, and we start taking a look at the different air pollutants that we're putting up in the atmosphere, a lot of sulfur dioxide creating sulfuric acid, nitrogen dioxide creating nitric acid, and other greenhouse gases, the depletion of the ozone layer by CFCs going into the atmosphere. My great concern is that this new administration that will come in will turn around and do away with the Clean Air Act. Because of the Clean Air Act, we've been able to really have made great progress in the quality of air and the quality of air that has been provided across the nation. That being said, there are still a number of countries that are having, if I'm not mistaken, what they call red alerts. Red alerts are those issues that deal specifically with smog, okay? A form of smoke and fog coming together that makes the breathability of the air very difficult to handle. Specifically in China and in India, there have been times when entire cities have been shut down. Schools, for the most part, have been closed because the quality of the air has been so bad that it becomes harmful. As a matter of fact, the air becomes so bad that it's like smoking 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day, okay, if in fact you breathe that air for a long period of time. What happens if we continue on in this direction? I mean, I just spoke to only one issue. There are so many issues, it's just unbelievable. My deepest concern is that what we're going to end up doing in the future is having wars over water. There are so many countries that are having difficulty with water resources. And with climate change that's been going on, the patterns of drought have changed and shifted throughout the world. And the areas that did not have a lot of water are now having more water because along with the climate change comes an entirely different weather pattern. Anybody that understands or studies the history of the planet knows that after the last ice age, for the most part, the St. Lawrence River dumped tons and tons of fresh water into the Atlantic, stopping the whole belt system that allows the salt water to move through its normal system. And in doing so, what ended up happening is that the ice age was then continued on in Europe. Bottom line is that there are a number of issues. Plastics are an issue, okay? The way that we treat water when it comes to dumping other pollutants like phosphates and nitrates into it, having algal blooms, killing off different populations indiscriminately. And another one is that as agriculture is starting to move more and more into third world countries, we have wholesale turned around and just wiped out forests in order to be able to raise crops. And in doing so, endangered species has increased. The numbers of species that have become extinct are just an issue because they're going to be gone from the planet forever. Anyway, so unless we change the way our relationship is with the planet, we're in for a lot of trouble as a species.